Rise and shine with breakfasts that love your body back. From fluffy pancakes to cozy golden milk, each of these allergy-friendly recipes are super flavorful. We want a 1/4 cup of chia seeds. Now 1 cup of soy milk. I'm using unsweetened soy milk. And then we're going to shake this up. We want to keep shaking it intermittently for the next few minutes. Otherwise, the chia will turn into one big glob at the bottom of the jar. Next, we want about 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. You may not need this if you use sweetened soy milk, but it's good with sweetened soy milk too. It just makes it extra sweet. All right, now we're going to prepare the fruit for the chia. Remember to keep shaking your chia every 30 seconds or so. And meanwhile, I'm going to mash up a banana and cut some grapes. You can use whatever your favorite fruit is. My favorite with chia seed pudding is banana and grapes. I have 1 banana and about 20 grapes here. Please comment below what fruit you would use to make it, to give ideas for our community, and who knows, I might even try your suggestions. See how the chia still looks like it's separating? It's not quite fully hydrated yet. We'll just keep shaking it up until it stops separating quite as much. It'll completely stop separating if you let it set overnight, but you can also just keep shaking it until it's more homogenized and eat it the same morning. All right, it's looking good. I shake it up and it's staying pretty much homogenized. I'm gonna just stir in this banana goodness. It adds sweetness as well as flavor. Now the grapes. Start by plugging in your waffle iron and adding 2 1/4 cups of water to your blender. For the garbanzos, you'll want to soak about 1/2 cup of garbanzos overnight. Garbanzos from a can don't work in this recipe, but if you wake up wanting waffles, you can cook them for about 10 minutes in an Instapot instead of soaking. You can also soak a bunch and then freeze them in 1 cup portions to prepare for the future. Then add your dates. Make sure to remove the seed and stem if present. You'll need 2 dates, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of oil, and 1 1/2 cups of oats. Then blend it up until smooth. You can also use 3/4 cup flaked barley if you're trying to avoid oats. Spray oil on your waffle maker and then pour the batter in. Set a timer for 15 minutes, which is about 2 cycles on my waffle iron. Just make 1 batch at a time because it thickens quite substantially if you let it set. You can keep the waffles warm in the oven at 200 degrees. Putting them on a tray gives them a softer texture. Or you can put them straight on the oven rack and they'll be crispy.
So good.
Enjoy! You'll need 1/2 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of tapioca starch, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and about 5 drops of stevia. You can use a different sweetener instead of the stevia. Another tablespoon of maple syrup will do just fine. You can also substitute sugar or whatever sweetener you prefer. Go ahead and whisk these together. It's very important to whisk it before heating it up, otherwise the tapioca starch will clump. It will also settle to the bottom and it will clump if you don't stir it consistently while it is on the burner. Go ahead and heat it at medium-high heat while stirring continuously. You'll notice that it reaches a point where it turns clear. This is the point where you can add the berries. Turn the heat down to medium-low. You can smash the berries if you like, or you can keep them whole. You can stop right here and serve it while the berries are still a little bit frozen inside. That's nice when it's hot outside. Or you can cook them thoroughly until they're cooked all the way through by leaving the lid on and just letting it cook over a medium-low heat for up to 15 minutes. The more you cook it, the more the tapioca starch will break down, so you'll notice that it gets more watery the longer you cook it. So, did you have it slightly cold still, or did you let it cook until it's thoroughly cooked? Let me know in the comments. And also, if there's some recipe that you've been wanting a video for, that you have allergies, that you can't eat it how you used to eat it, or something like that, just let me know that also. Finally, please like and subscribe. Thank you. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of water, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. The 2 tablespoons of water are for the vegan egg replacement. We'll be adding the powder that is associated with that later. Then whisk these ingredients together. Next, add the flours. 1 cup of Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour blend, the 1-to-1 blue bag. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now mix the dry ingredients together. Lastly, add 3/4 cup of milk. I'm using soy milk. 1, 2, 3. And blend everything together until everything is incorporated and it's a smooth mixture. Alright, now let's cook our pancakes. I'm going to turn the heat on high to heat the pan up. Then we'll turn it down to cook. Alright, now we're going to add some oil. We have the temperature on about a 5. Swish the oil around and add the batter. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. Now that it's been 2 minutes, let's go ahead and turn this. Notice how it's starting to get dry on the top and how it has bubbles popping up all around it. Spread the oil around. Beautiful. And I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute for the second side. Alright, now it's been 1 minute for the second side. Let's see how it's looking. Perfect! Beautiful. Let's add this to the stack. so delicious. Let's start off with 1.5 cups of soy milk. And I want to show you the ingredients on this soy milk. It is just soy milk. So make sure that yours has the same, because if you have any additives, it won't turn out the same. It won't curdle like it should. And 1/2. And then I'm going to be using yogurt culture starter mix. You can also use yogurt that you have made yourself. You can freeze it or dry it if it'll be a long time between making yogurt. This is a 1/4 teaspoon. Put the lid on, shake it up, put it in the Instapot, and select the yogurt setting. Now it will be ready in 12 hours. You can also wait 24 hours and it will be even more curdled. All right, it is 24 hours later, and we are gonna check our yogurt. Strain it. And this can be left overnight for the thickest yogurt. For right now, I'm just going to give it a little squeeze and then transfer it over into this bowl here. I'm going to add a heaping tablespoon of maple syrup. Now I'm going to emulsify with a hand blender. It'll be thicker, of course, if you let it strain for longer. I like to eat mine with blueberries. To get started, we are going to take 20 grams of powdered psyllium husk. Now I'm adding 265 grams of milk, warmed. Whisk this together. You'll want to make sure the milk is warmed so that it absorbs with the psyllium husk in the best way possible. Make sure it's not hot, because that could damage your starter, but just warm. I am using Better Than Milk powder, which is reconstituted with water. It's a soy-based milk, but you can use other milks too. All right, now we need 6 grams of vanilla. Now we need our gluten-free starter, which I have some at Peak Rise here, 275 grams. We need 300 grams of Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1, the blue bag. 50 grams of sugar. I'm using raw turbinado sugar. 6 grams of salt. 50 grams of potato starch. I'm stirring the flours together, then combining it with the starter, and finally with the psyllium husk. before I finish stirring this, I'm going to get out my butter and I'm going to soften this whole thing. We're going to use half now, half later. So I am going to divide it into 2 bowls before softening it in the microwave for 15 seconds. Okay, I'm going to put it just a little bit longer. Another 15 seconds, depending upon how cold your butter is. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and use my hands because I always feel I can get a better knead going with my hands. And there'll come a point where it's just really hard to incorporate any more flour into the dough because it is so dry. And at this point, go ahead and add 1 bowl of butter. You can use a bread machine to make this easier and just beat it for 2 minutes. Ready to roll! I'm aiming for about 8.5 by 19 inches. Every so often, I'm gonna stop to push the edges in and out so that I get corners on the sides and the right shape of the dough. If the dough starts sticking, I'm gonna add a little bit of flour. Stopping again to even it out. Alright, that looks about right. I'm gonna measure it. We have 9 inches by 19. There we go, just right. Now we're gonna put our butter. Now we're gonna spread it out. Attention to getting the edges farthest to the right and left, but kind of trying to skip the edge at the bottom because that'll help make it stickier and help our buns to stick together. So I'm leaving about a 1/2 inch or so unbuttered at the bottom edge. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to mix 2/3 cup of brown sugar and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon together. And sprinkle it over. can remove any hard chunks. And smooth it evenly over the whole piece of dough. Now you can put in whatever goodies your heart desires. I love raisins and also chopped pecans. Now it's time to cut. I am cutting at every inch. You can cut thicker cinnamon rolls, however, they will need a longer baking time. I like these because you can eat 2 for the price of 1. I'm spreading a tiny bit of oil around in my baking dish. There we go. Now we can begin the rolling. Use a fork to close the roll. Please like and subscribe. Check the description for my favorite allergy-friendly substitutions. I know it's hard to wait, but now these guys need to rise for 4 hours. You can put them in after 3.5. I set my oven to the lowest temperature possible, 170, to allow the surface to heat ever so slightly. It's just warm to the touch, not hot at all, which will allow these to rise a little bit faster. Maybe I should also add, don't set them right over the oven vent. Otherwise you'll end up pre-baking your cinnamon rolls and they will not rise. Alright, the oven is preheated and our rolls are ready to go in. Oh, they're so beautiful! Alright, 30 minutes later, the cinnamon rolls are ready to come out. And I'm going to flip them over on this cooling rack. The silicone mat underneath the cinnamon rolls makes for easy cleanup. I scraped the bottom of the pan and I get to drizzle this onto the top of these lovelies. Woohoo! Check out this texture. Ooh, it's hot still. Okay, I'm gonna use forks. Okay, this is gonna be better. But anyways, look at this. Yes, you're watching as I mutilate a perfectly good cinnamon roll. Show you this texture. So good. These cinnamon rolls freeze great, and just take them out one at a time, put them in the microwave for 30 seconds, and enjoy yourself a delicious cinnamon roll. Alright, now that it's not so hot, I just want to show you this texture. Look at that. This is another one I just have to demo for you. Look at our beautiful spices. We're gonna make this in a cup, but you can always make a large version in a pot. I'll put that recipe down in the description below. Start off with 1 cup of unsweetened soy milk. Add 1 tablespoon of honey. Put this in the microwave until it is hot to your liking. I'm gonna do 1 minute and 30 seconds. All right, we've got our steamy, dreamy milk here. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/16 of a teaspoon of cloves, and 1/16 of a teaspoon of ginger. We'll finish up by whisking this up. And adding 1 tablespoon of coconut cream. And this is one that I just have to demonstrate me taking a try for you. Oh, so good. You're gonna have to try it. Enjoy. Freely eat. I tend to make this in super large batches, so we're going to start with 10 cups of oats. 1, 2, 3, 10. And we'll want 2 cups of coconut and 2 cups of brown sugar. This is shredded, unsweetened coconut. And I get this from As Your Standard. It will not be the same if you use sweetened coconut or the larger shred. You want the very finely shredded coconut. Two cups of brown sugar. I just make them mounded, but you can pack it to make it exact. But this recipe is not exact. You can have quite a variation with the amounts of ingredients you use. Now we want our nuts, 2 cups of pecans, and 2 cups of walnuts. All right, now we're gonna mix together our liquids and our salt. We'll be using 2 tablespoons of Mexican vanilla. If you don't have a real vanilla, you may need twice as much. And we want 1/2 to 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm going to be using 2 teaspoons. And I forgot to mention, I'm adding this into 1.5 cups of water. And we're gonna need 2 cups of oil. But I'm gonna go ahead and stir everything before I add the oil. I'm gonna be using 1 strong spoon to stir this granola here. All right, that's pretty well combined. And I'm going to stir my liquids. This particularly gets the salt to be spread out and not in all in one clump of granola. That's probably the most important part of stirring. So I'm just checking to see if it looks like the salt is dissolved when I'm looking in the spoon here. And you can see that it's pretty much dissolved now. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in. Give this a quick stir. And then I'm going to add the oil. I want 2 cups of oil. I'm going to be using extra virgin olive oil. Although it works with other oils, I've used canola as well. I know this is a lot of oil, but it's a big recipe. This is what makes it crispy and crunchy when it's baked instead of soggy or hard. All right, time to bake. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And dish the granola onto a couple of cookie sheets. It's really important to get an even layer of granola on the cookie sheet, otherwise it won't bake evenly. Also, don't make it too thick or too thin. I like to make it just close enough to where you can't see the cookie sheet, but thin enough that it's just about to see the cookie sheet. So you can see it's about the depth of a pecan or a walnut, and this will be consistent with the amount of times that I'm going to give you to bake it at. If you do it thinner or thicker, you may have to adjust the baking time. This will give you several sheets of granola, and the cooking times are for 2 sheets in the oven at the same time. If you have only 1 sheet, or you have the sheet partially filled, the timing will be less. All right, this sheet looks pretty good to go. I'm not seeing much of the cookie sheet anymore. All right, the oven is preheated. Let's pop it in. One important thing is to make sure the racks are at the right level. You want them evenly spaced apart. Not at the top, not at the bottom. I have mine on the one just down from the top and the one just up from the bottom. Let's go ahead and set the timer for 20 minutes. All right, it looks like our timer is going off. We'll go ahead and get the granola out of the oven. Wow, it is looking beautiful. Now we just need to give it a stir. And return it to the oven for another 15 minutes. All your trays will need at least 20 minutes and then a stir, and then 15 minutes and then another stir. Some of them will need another 5 to 15, sometimes even 30 minutes, depending upon how thick they are and how many trays you have in the oven and how much you have on each tray. So just do a quick cool it down and taste test to see if it's crunchy to your liking. Enjoy! And that's how you kickstart the day. Wholesome, flavor-packed, and totally allergen-free.